All right, welcome to day 27, which is your checkpoint number 1. So you've already looked through this because this is where the video that you're watching now is. So basically you have 2 steps. Watch the video, which you're already doing, and then you're going to click on the checkpoint number 1. That will take you over to, let me just click preview so that you guys can see what it'll look like for you. That'll take you over here again. It tells you about the checkpoint, so let's talk about that for a second. Throughout this book, key problems have been designated as checkpoints. Each checkpoint problem is marked with an icon that looks like this. If you're looking through the book, that's how you'll tell. These checkpoint problems are provided so that you can check to be sure that you are building the skills that are expected at this level. So essentially this checkpoint is kind of like another little quiz or whatever, but it's basically so that you know at this moment in time, before we finish chapter 1, before we get into chapter 2, which is going to be very important, making sure that at this level you are 100% confident in solving an equation. Because a lot of what we do here on out, we're just going to automatically assume that you are at this level, that you are mastered it, and that you don't need as much help on the solving the equations part, and that we can focus on the other topics at hand. Because all of the topics are going to include solving equations. So we want to make sure that you are mastered at this before moving on. So essentially what's going to happen today is you're going to have 2 parts of this checkpoint. First and foremost, you have a link right here. This link will take you to the actual checkpoint in your ebooks. You can also find it through the reference guide at the bottom, but it basically goes through how to solve an equation. It shows you a step-by-step process of how to solve it, remembering combining like terms to get the 8x, then get both the x's on the same side and the numbers on the other side. So we're moving that 6x over here by subtracting it from the 8 to get 2. This is already being subtracted, so that means we're going to add it to the other side to get 12, and then our last step is to divide. So this shows you a step-by-step process so that you can kind of, help yourself get through it. And then on the checkpoint, you're going to have 4 questions. 2 fill in the blanks where you can just type in your nice little answer there. Oh, the answer is 3, right? You don't need to write x equals. We already have x equals up here, so just type in 3 or whatever the answer is. Same thing with the second one, just type in a single number. If it's a -3, just put a -3 with no spaces. But you're going to solve those 2. And then you have 2 questions down here where you're actually going to solve the equation and then show your work by either writing it on a paper and uploading that picture right here, or by using the equation editor right here. Okay? So you're going to solve both of these. Now, if you look back at that link that we had already clicked up here, let's see, where is it? This one. You'll notice that these 4 problems are already on here because we want you to already be able to check your work. Okay? Those are your practice. Make sure that you can do it without checking this first. If you look farther down the page, you also see another 16 questions that are all practice questions. You don't have to turn these in. These are not part of this process. However, it does say, ideally at this point, you are comfortable with working with these types of problems. So if you are not comfortable with these types of problems, practice more. So that's where this extra 16 questions come into play. Continue practicing it. If you still are, and then those 16 answers are right down here. So that way, you can check your work. Everything up until this moment in time, you have all the answers written in front of you. You can check your work. If you cannot get these questions right without having to look at the answers, that's where you want to reach out to me. We need to, practice more, get you some one-on-one help so that way we can make sure that we are mastered with this. And that's the end of this checkpoint on in the book. However, the assignment goes on from there. It says, okay, now the next few problems you will not have an answer key to show you the let me rephrase that. The next few problems you will not have an answer key for. This is to show me that you have mastered this and that you don't need any more help up until now. So again, there are 3 fill-in-the-blank questions. Again, I noticed I wrote up here, type only the number in the blank, not x equals, just the number. And then you have 3 questions down here where, again, you are going to solve the equation and show your work. Again, there are no answer key for these 6. These are the 6 that you will actually get graded for. And that's your checkpoint number 1.